The reason faith giants will be commended by Christ is not just because of the results they have. It's also because of the character they sustained while having those results. Many times, God may not be glorified by your manifestation. There are times when your manifestations will glorify God. But many times, your character in your manifestation is what glorifies God. That's why today, many people are doing many wonders, but they bring reproach to God. Because they didn't go through this class of the trial of faith. He said, count it all joy. See, this class sometimes, right, can be so bad that people will mock you and tell you, we thought you say you are a man of God. Are you not the one singing everywhere, saying all things are possible to them that believe? They will mock you. Like Jesus was saying in Luke 4:23, physician, heal thyself. That's how bad it is sometimes. And as I list some of these trials, you will be shocked. But it will help you. And hear this, these trials don't destroy you. At the end of the day, if you stand, you will get the result. But you will get much more than result if you stand to the end. God allows trials so that we are perfected in the workings of faith. Two things I'll be addressing quickly are the major areas where faith is put to the test. And then I will show you the protocol that you must follow to route the trials of faith and come out victorious. So quickly, major areas where the faith of a man is tested. Number one, in the area of delay in divine promises. See, there are many times you are a faith man. God speaks to you. Maybe not even through a prophet. He will do this, he will do that. And according to the principles of faith, you believe it. You now declare it. The moment you declare it, then the whole heavens will shut. It will look as though you made a mistake talking about it. And because men are out to discredit your Christianity, they will come time and time again to taunt you and say, were you not the one who said 2 years ago that God was going to do this? Where is it? How come we have not seen it? Go and sit down. You people just be talking what you don't know. You will bite your finger. Sometimes you go back to prayer and say, God, didn't I hear you well? Then he will repeat it. To your biggest frustration, he will repeat it. Then you will come back thinking that, oh, it has been affirmed. If I say it now, it will happen. You will talk. Then heavens will be quiet for another 5 years. For those 5 years, you'll be moving around. You even begin to doubt whether it's God that used to speak to you. You start wondering, what's going on? Next time when God speaks on another issue, you will now become afraid of saying it. He's teaching you a lot of things because you can become arrogant in faith. You can become a rascal. This is what helps you to manage your temperature no matter what God is doing in your life. And this thing is worse with those who have made a name, because sometimes you say it in the public, then it doesn't happen. It's delayed. Nothing humbles you in faith like delay in God's promises, but it's part of the trials of faith. Look at Abraham. Genesis 12 from verse 1 to 3. This was where God promised Abraham a child first. Now the Lord said unto Abraham. Who spoke to Abraham? Is he a prophet? The Lord spoke unto Abraham, get thee out of thy country, from thy kindred, from thy father's house, unto the land that I will show thee. And then God began to speak in his majesty. And I will make thee a great nation. I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be what? A blessing. Verse 3. And I will bless them that bless thee, curse them that curse thee, and in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Verse 2 is where the promise is. I will make you a great nation. That means nations will come out of you. This is what God told one man. I will make thee a great nation. This guy was 75. No child. Now you come out and say, listen, nations will come out of me. And people look at you. You hope this your impotence and Sarah's barrenness is not affecting you. Can we suggest? So your family now will gather and say, you come. Then they are talking. When you come, they now stop. Then one person will stand up and give a speech in a most gracious manner. We have seen that what you are going through has been difficult for you. And we understand you are truly a strong man. But don't worry. We have made an arrangement for you to go on holiday. And then some of our family friends who are doctors, they will just come to check. You know what they are telling you politely? From the way you are going now, we suggest madness has entered the matter. To make things worse, the guy is leaving his country. He is leaving his kindred. He is denouncing his family. Even if you be a great nation, at least stay connected to your family now. Must you disconnect from your family to be a nation? That's what God told him. You have not had anyone. The one you have, you want to cut off. Is something not wrong with you? Abraham struggled and struggled when he started questioning God. Genesis 15 verse 5 and 6. This time around, God didn't just speak. The Bible said, and God brought him forth abroad and said, look now towards heaven and tell the stars, if you are able to number them, if you are able to number them. And he said unto him, so shall thy seed be. Abba, Father, I know you are God. I honor you. But the last time I said this, they called me mad. I've not had one. You are telling me my children will be as many as the stars? Let's begin with one first. No result. God was still speaking. That's how faith. Those are trials. There are some of you seated here. God told you, you will have a global ministry. You have fasted for 19 years. The ministry has not come. And when you humbled yourself to support those who are in ministry, they treat you like rag. You now go back to God and cried. And God said, don't worry, continue. Your ministry is a global ministry. Some of you are here. God told you that you will be wealthy and you will sponsor his agenda. You wrote it on your status 7 years ago. As we speak now, you are begging for house rent. And the person you asked for help say, I saw this status. Are you not the one who sponsors why not start with your house rent? It's called the trial of faith. Do you know it took 25 years for Isaac to come? 25 years, solid years, before what is not a prophet. If he's a prophet, he will say, Kai, this prophet is not very strong. Maybe he didn't see where. It was the Almighty himself that spoke. It took 25 years. Now, do you know the frustration? Why Abraham was waiting for this, God was doing other things. But the one he wanted the most, that one took 25 years. The trial of faith. See, I don't know what God told you. I don't know where you declared it. It might even have embarrassed you. But hear this. This message came for your lifting. God sent me to declare to you today that the season of your answer has come. Delayed promises. How about Joseph? Genesis 37 verse 5 to 11. The young boy sat on his own. He didn't ask for anything. He was not even praying. On his own, he was there. God now came and gave him a dream. 11 stars are bowing before you, and he had 11 brothers. What are you saying, sir? I didn't ask for this dream. Oh. The sun and the moon are bowing to you. And in his innocence, he went to his father. Is that not the principle of faith? Believe it and declare it and have it. Papa, this is what I saw. The father rebuked him. You mean I will bow to you? Do you know the meaning of what you are saying? I don't know, but that's what God showed me. The brother swore. So this is your ambition. You who is second to the last, your plan is to make up. So we are going to be failing and waiting for you to succeed, to bow to you. You are finished. So anytime the guy is away with them, some will hold his ear and want to cut it. Some are knocking. Some are slapping. So he will run and stay with his father. When they are going out, he will stay with his father. I'm tired of knocks. I'm tired of pulling of ear. I'm tired of slap. As if that was not enough, the father he ran to for refuge now sent him to the field. Go and give your brothers food. Sir, you have slaves here. There are many servants. Why must it be me? When he went, they saw him coming. Here comes the dreamer. Today you will realize that your dream. They took him, threw him into a pit, and they sat and were discussing what to do with him. Now imagine what happens. Your own brothers threw you to a pit and they are talking, you are hearing. Should we butcher him? Should we behead him? What do we do with him? Imagine what will be happening to your heart. There is no way you can teleport to tell your father. Then suddenly they saw Egyptians, slave buyers passing. Come, carry this dream and let him fulfill his dream in Egypt. Let's see the stars that will bow to him. So you know we are stars. But in your loftiness, you think we will bow to you, Abi. Go to Egypt as a slave. Maybe they will bow to you in the slave quarters. As if that was not enough, he went to Egypt. Then Potiphar's wife shows up, accused him innocently. And a slave in a foreign land became accused to be a rapist. And that was not enough. They now took him to prison. He spent extra 2 years there, hopeless. 11 years first, 2 years in prison. That's 13 years. But God said, 11 stars will bow to you. You are here. God spoke to you 6 months ago. You're already weeping. God, where are you? You don't know faith. He called those things that be not as though they were. He's not journeying with your beginning alone. He's at the end. That's why he's called Alpha, Omega, beginning, and what is happening in the middle does not matter. If he said, he will do it. He said, God is not a man that he should lie. Neither is he the son of man that he should repent. He said, will he say a thing and not do it? He will do it. They may have thrown you to a pit. It doesn't matter. They may have sold you out. It doesn't matter. They may have accused you. It doesn't matter. They may have imprisoned you. It doesn't matter. The Bible said, until the time that his word came, the word of the Lord tried him. The king sent for to lose him. Even the ruler of the people, he made him lord of his house and ruler of his substance, to bind his princes at his pleasure and to teach his senators wisdom. I prophesy over someone. Everything God told you, with your eyes you will see them manifest. You know, sit down for a moment, please. Romans 15 verse 4 said, the things that were written aforetime, he said they were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. This is why these stories were gazetted. They were curated, chronicled for you, so that whatever you go through, you will not stagger. The first area where faith is tried is in delay in God's promises. Number 2, second area where faith is tried is in the area of lack and scarcity. God will speak to you. You will know you are at the center of God's will. But you will not have the wherewithal to support that thing. Nothing frustrate like that. I'm sending you as an evangelist to bring my power to the nations of the world. And then you are there. You don't even have a microphone to preach the gospel. When your faith is about to be challenged, one of the areas where to be challenged is in the area of lack. I know it personally. This one, I know it. I may not have experienced delay much, but this one, I tell you, I know it. I will close my eyes, I will see nations. The other time, I went to pray with one of our senior brothers. As I laid on the altar praying, I saw flags of nations. Flags were passing. I woke up. I told him, this is what I saw. We held hands, prayed. I laid down again. I had another dream. They gave me a perfume, gave him a perfume. His own perfume had a sword. And the man is an intercessor indeed. And my own perfume had flags of nations. But guess where I was? Laboring in a secondary school, earning 25,000 naira in a month, talking for 14 hours. In one of the schools, I taught mathematics, I taught physics. When the integrated science teacher was not around, they now added that to me. When I come home, my head will be juggling. I teach physics in SS3, teach mathematics in SS2, teach physics in SS1, then go to JS2 and teach integrated science. If you come home, your head will be like maybe a football that the 22 players finish playing and they put on your neck. 14 to 16 hours every month. When you finish 25,000, this 25,000, they are cutting 20 naira for every day you came late. They improved it to 50 naira. So you can't even collect the 25,000. Sometimes it's 18,000 you are going home with. Out of the 18,000, you have paid for bike 8,000 in a month. So you hire a bike man who takes you to school and bring you back. At the end of the month, you collect this 18,000, you give the person 8,000. You are going home with 10,000. And this 10,000, sometimes debt has eaten more than 9,000 out of it. So at the end of the month, your salary, even your tithe, will require faith to take it out. But God said, you will go to nations. All the people we trusted in, my only uncle that all of us thought was the bailout. They promoted him, prison officer, gave him a car. He was driving home, had an accident and died. So you turn left, no support. Turn right, no support. But the Bible said, he called those things that be not as though they were. You know, some of you don't know how this thing works. What God told you will come to pass. But the day you realize that it's not money that sponsors destiny, it's faith, that's the day you will wake up. You will look for money, you won't find it. As important as it is, it's faith that brings money. Please sit down. Scarcity. 1 Kings 17. You read the story of Elijah. I don't have time. From verse 1 to 8, God sent Elijah, go tell Ahab, there shall be no rain. And Elijah came, verse 1, like a warrior before God whom I stand. There shall be no rain or dew, doing the will of God. But the question is, how will you survive? I'm telling you how faith works. You know what God did? Sent the guy to a brook. He sat there for more than 1 year to survive. That's what scarcity will do. See, there are seasons of your life where God will hide you in a school for 4 years. Because you need to pass through that season. All we have is enough to eat. Ravens will bring bread morning and evening. He will drink water from there. As if that was not enough, the water dried up. God now sent him. The only person available to be sent to was a widow. And Elijah came. The widow was gathering firewood. He said, give me a cup of water. As the widow wanted to go, he said, add cake. Who told you there's cake in this land? Are you not aware where we are? Are you not the one who shut the heaven? There's no cake anywhere. The one remaining, I want to eat it and die today. We have surrendered to death. And Elijah said, no, the cake won't finish. Go and make for me first. See, if you don't know faith, you will be shocked too. I said, what is left is to eat and die. He said, make for me first. God sent you on a mission. You thought wealth will come from everywhere. Then for 10 years, you are barely surviving. Barely surviving. Those are the things that teach you the way of faith. The question is, will that purpose be fulfilled? Yes. But you must pass through this class. The reason, no matter what amount of money comes to you tomorrow, it won't shake you, is because like Paul, you have mastered how to abound and to abase. It's part of the syllabus of faith. So you can't move Paul with money. He knows what it means to suffer, to despair. He knows lack. Your rank as an apostle is not the money in your account, it's the doggedness of your faith. In 2 Corinthians 8 verse 1, Paul said, I will not hide from you the suffering that we went through in Achaia. He said, we despaired even unto death. That's 2 Corinthians, I think 1 verse 8 now. The situation was so bad, it was as if they were dying. For we would not, brethren, have you ignorant of our trouble which came to us in Asia, that we were pressed out of measure, above strength, in so much that we despaired even of life. Verse 9. He said, but we had the sentence of death in ourselves, that we should not trust in ourselves, but in God. See, in the journey of faith, a time will come when you will lack so much that God will become your water. God will become your food. Nothing will come from anywhere. If you will eat something, you will trust God to eat. But it doesn't mean what God told you is a lie. It's part of the process. Many don't know this. That's why God spoke to them. They thought it will happen immediately. And when they are not seeing it, they give up. Those who know faith, they don't give up. They stand to the end. Because the end is what justifies the means. Number 3, persecution. When you start the journey of faith, there are times when God will send you to certain places. Your biggest mistake is to call yourself a Christian. The whole system will turn against you. They will frustrate you. In fact, they will do it with malice and with evil. Ask some of our brethren who are in the force. You go to the police force and say, I'm a Christian. They send you out, come back and come with a message. See, sometimes some of the jobs that Christians do, if they tell you their story, you will know they have more faith than some of the global prophets. You are doing a particular job because it is expected that people should lie, because marketing there is lying, and you say you won't lie. They will send you to a village where there's no light, and where there are bandits, and you will be there for 5 years. When they are promoting people, they will say your file is missing. You will come to headquarters to look for your file. Clerk will tell you, wait, I don't have big. I don't have big. It's not buy me big. Big is envelope. And because you can't do it, you will sit down from morning to evening for 2 weeks. Oga will come and enter. When they see you, yeah, give it, they will enter the office. Then they will enter and say, leave him. He has not seen anything. When he's tired, they will go back. And when you are tired, you will go back. What is your offense? I won't lie. What is your offense? I won't take bribe. And they will frustrate your life for 10 years. Meanwhile, God spoke to you. But your challenge is that you say you are a Christian. Let me show you scriptures. Daniel 3 verse 17. 3 Hebrew boys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. What was their error? They said they don't bow to any other thing apart from God. Are you serious? When their enemies wanted to deal with them, they went to the king and told the king, the level of glory God has given to you, it's high time you build an image for the whole of Babylon to bow to it. They were doing all of that because of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And when the king did it, they said it will be announced, anybody that does not bow, you will go into the fire. So know the verdict from the beginning. Meanwhile, these guys walked with God. God has spoken to them. When they came before the king, this was their answer. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning, fiery furnace. Are you seeing description? Burning, fiery furnace. Each of them is enough terror. He said, but he will deliver us from thy hand. Verse 18. This is where you will see the doggedness of faith. You know, these guys knew something. They were not talkers. He said, but if not, be it known to thee, O king, that we will not serve your God, nor worship the golden image that you have set. Number one, you don't talk to a king like that. Number two, not a Nebuchadnezzar. Number three, not on matters of his God. And Nebuchadnezzar said, what? You are this bold? We will see your boldness through persecution. And he said, that fire we spoke about, go and make it 7 times hotter. Go to verse 19. You don't know persecution, you don't know faith. When they were raising us those days, they told us, if your faith has not yet attracted persecution, your Christianity is not yet real. It's not this new generation Christianity that every time we gather, bread, breakthrough. That's why we can't raise men, sir. Our whole idea of faith is God will do it, God will do it. There are faith that they survive persecution. How many of us here can stand for Jesus in our office if our boss persecutes us for 10 years and say we will not compromise? And we say we know faith. No wonder we are not seeing the powers of the patriarch. He said through faith they subdued kingdoms, they wrought righteousness, they obtained promises, they quenched the violence of fire, they shut the mouth of lions, they put to flight the armies of the alien. He said weak men were made valiant in battle. Weak men. Faith taught them something. They became warriors because God gave them a thick skin. We will not bow. And the king said, make the fire 7 times hotter. And to tell you they were not bluffing, they tied them. And they didn't just throw them. It was a ceremony. The king sat down with his officials. The whole city were watching how they will torment them with fire. But God showed up. See, God will show up for somebody. Your faith will not be in vain. I say God will show up for you. When the king threatens you, you may not see God. When they tied you, you may not see God. When they carried you, you may not see God. But when you enter the fire, Jesus will show up there. I say God will show up there. How about Daniel? Thrown into the den of the lion. Jesus said, blessed are ye when men persecute you because of your faith. When faith attracts persecution, celebrate. Did you not read about the apostles? Acts chapter 4. When they caught them, they flogged them, never preach in the name of this Christ. The Bible said they returned to their company and they celebrated that they too have been counted worthy to be persecuted for Jesus. Trials of faith. Faith sometimes will shut doors against you. Faith sometimes will throw you to the den of the lion. Faith sometimes will throw you into the furnace of fire. Faith does not only open doors, faith also shuts doors. There are places you go to because you call Jesus, they will relegate you to the back. But the excellency of faith is that everything you lost in time, God has a way through restoration at the right season to cover up all of those things. When you look at the life of Joseph, you thought those 13 years was a waste. From when he was sold by his brothers to his days in Potiphar's house, about 11 years, to the time in prison, about 2 years, you thought it was waste of time. But when God showed up, even Potiphar was no longer qualified to stand before Joseph. So the things you are losing, you are not losing them. God is aggregating them for you. At the right time, they will show up. This is why no matter the persecution, don't back down. Let people laugh. It's part of the story of faith. Number 4. Health challenges. And this one is very common with people who are in the power ministry. You know, when we went for Reinhard Bonke's last meeting in Lagos, he was operated of cancer not too long. Even when he was preaching, you could see the fire, but the body was weak. And I stood there as a man who didn't have understanding at the time, and I was wondering, I said, this man, he dematerialized cancer. Why will he be operated? That's where you hear, physician, heal thyself. People will even come up and say, all those things we told you were fake. Now that himself is sick, how come we can't see the healing power? It will look as if their narrative was right. You will endure it. People will mock you. I thought you say you deliver people. How come your own son is demonized? And many times, for a season, nothing will happen. It's faith. It's part of scripture. Look at the Bible. Job chapter 1. The Bible began this scripture by telling us the credentials of Job. Job 1 verse 1. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job. That man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil. This was a man who walked with God. But there was a challenge, and Job was not even aware. Satan went to God. Is it not because you blessed him that he's worshiping you? If you didn't bless him, will he worship you? God said, this man loved me more than things. Satan said it's not true. He said, okay, go and try it. He went. One day, all of his wealth and children disappeared. You will be there asking, all of them, where say, now they pray. Why didn't you see when Satan wanted to attack your son? If you have not heard such things, you don't know faith. If things happen to you and everybody come to sympathize with you, you are not a man of faith. That means you have not said some rugged things before. They will show. I thought you say you see. How come attack came? 7 of your children, you didn't see one. You will keep quiet and learn humility in faith. As if that was not enough, Satan still came and afflicted the man. Are you not the one who was saying here that Christ in you is the hope of glory? Are you all the one shouting and singing, if that same spirit that raised up Jesus from the dead lives in us, he quickens our mortal body? Are you not the one saying, I cannot be sick? Oh God, how come you are lying down? You will turn to God and bite your finger. But you see, it will be too late to doubt God. And because you can't doubt God, it becomes like a prison. You can't deny your faith, and you can't deny the fact that you are where you shouldn't be. And people are asking. That's where Job found himself. It's called trial of faith. Your health will be attacked. Your loved ones will be attacked. Look at Paul, mighty apostle. The Bible says Paul was in Lystra. He was preaching. A man who was impotent from birth was watching. And Paul perceived that he had faith. And Paul told him, stand up. And a crippled man stood up and started walking. But Timothy, that was Paul's disciple, was sick. Guess what Paul said? Don't drink only water. Drink wine for what? Your often infirmities. Imagine if you saw Paul in the hospital with Timothy. You will carry phone and record. Come and see this fake apostle. I told you, all those miracles on the crusade are fake. See the real sickness. He can't do anything. Or God don't come hospital. Trials. Trials. 1 Timothy 5, 22 and 23. You know, I wondered how Paul felt when he wrote this to Timothy. Meanwhile, Paul was still talking to him about laying on of hands. He said, lay hands suddenly on no man. That means even Timothy was walking in miracles. So Paul was telling him, don't be carried away and start laying hands on everybody. Be wise so that you don't partake of people's infirmity. Yet the guy was sick. So you will lay hands on somebody, he's shouting, I am healed. You turn, you are vomiting. That's faith. Paul, God mighty apostle, healed the sick, but his own disciple sick. He said, drink no longer water, but use little wine for thy stomach's sake and for thy often infirmities. So Timothy was sick. Paul was helpless many times. They had to look for a doctor to advise them. Recently, somebody said, these pastors have doctors. I said, you don't know faith. If you know the journey of faith, you will know. There's no law that says you shouldn't have doctors. But that doctors are present does not mean you should stop trusting God. Because of thy often infirmities. Those of you who follow the moves of God, you must have read across many generations. Some of the mighty workers of miracles, either their children or their wives or themselves were sick. And they will go to massive crusades. Massive things will happen. But they will come back and nurse their sick children. I read the book of our dear mother in the faith, Mrs. Faith Oedekbo. How she was struck on the altar. Went to preach with the husband somewhere. God's servant finished preaching for her to come take offering. She collected the mic and couldn't speak. And after a few seconds, God's servant discerned that something was wrong. Rushed there and grabbed her from the altar. She was bedridden for more than 9 months. You will say, I thought this man says he's a man of faith. That's why it's happening. It's called trials of faith. Some of you follow the prayer watches that just ended yesterday. I made a declaration. A lady felt like something was coming out. Rushed to the bathroom. Literal fibroid came out of her. But I have somebody who needs healing in my house. Till today is sick. You can't balance the equation. To make things worse, they followed. They were not healed. I saw other people's case. I didn't see their own. So what do you say? It's called trials of faith. You will go and lay hands on somebody's child. The person will come back to life. You'll come back home. Somebody else who is connected to you is going through a less condition. You shout, you sing, you pray, you fast, and nothing happens. They are trials of faith. Don't give up. These are the journeys. Even Jesus, they challenged him like that. He went to his hometown. The Bible says he couldn't do mighty works. They say, you, this carpenter, which day did you become a Messiah? We are the ones. Do you know we carried you when you were born? And Jesus tried, they couldn't. The Bible says only few sick folks were healed. So sometimes it's familiarity, sometimes it's unbelief, sometimes it's manipulation of the realm. Your duty is to keep believing. Number 5, trial of faith is the loss of loved ones. There are times when people you love will die. In situations that you will not be able to forgive yourself. You will weep and weep and weep. You will beg God, Lord, if you do this, all my life I will serve you. They will still die. I think it was either Roberts now or Kenneth Hagin, I've forgotten. They said lost his son, and for many years he was weeping. I think it was Oral Roberts. Until Jesus gave Kenneth Hagin an encounter to tell him that his son was with him. The man couldn't forgive himself. I prayed for many, they were healed. I delivered many. Why would my own son die? There are many who fell from the faith because their loved ones died. But it's the journey of faith. Sometimes God checks their future. This is the best time for them to come home. So you prayed, nothing happened. Because if they remain on earth, some will backslide, some will go into apostasy. Some, the little things they have in God, they will damage it. So when God sees that this is the best time for them to enjoy eternity, He just carries them. And there are times when there are no explanation. When you finish grieving, you will move forward. It's part of the baggage of faith. Didn't you see Mary and Martha in John 11? They were weeping. We know Jesus. He comes here to eat. He sleeps here. He is healing strangers. Now our brother is sick. You are nowhere to be found. When Jesus eventually showed up, they didn't even let him talk. If you were here, our brother would not have died. When we are celebrating, you come. Now that there's sorrow, where are you? Subtle attack on Jesus. It's called trial of faith. It happens. This does not mean you should change your conviction. You stand your ground. You are not Alpha Omega. In this journey, you win some, you lose some, but you keep growing. That's how faith is. And if you want to question God, you will question for a long time. And the thing is, when you eventually go to heaven, you will remember. The joy will overwhelm you. So anyone you can handle. The ones you can't handle, thank him, move forward. That's how faith works. You know, in church, 2 million people, 500,000 people are following. 30 are healed. We celebrate it. What should we do? We should celebrate it. But we celebrate that 30 as though the 500,000 too receive something. Now, if you check the ratio, that's less than 0.01%. So as we are celebrating the 30, there are 300 that nothing happened. But you won't kill yourself because your name is not Jesus Christ of Nazareth. So instead of crying, oh Lord, see these 2,000 that have not been taught. If it's 10 that God healed through your faith, thank him and move on. And as you are growing, the ratio increases. That's faith. 2 Samuel 12 verse 22 and 23. I love the character of David. His son was sick. He trusted God. And the son died. See what David said. And he said, while the child was yet alive, I fasted and wept. For I said, who can tell? God will be gracious to me and that the child may live. Next verse. But now he is dead. Wherefore should I fast? Can I bring him back again? I should go to him, but he should not return to me. The man got up after he did all he knew to do. He showered, combed his hair, ate, and moved on. Now, there are times when God raises the dead. That's not the context we are dealing with. But there are times when you pray your heart out, nothing happens. Don't stop there. Keep moving. This is part of the journey of faith. Every faith giant have tasted 1, 2, or more of these things. Number 6. Divine instructions that defies reason and logic. One of the biggest challenges of faith is when God gives you an instruction that does not make sense. Those who are people of faith, they know this and they know it well. Joshua 6 verse 3 and 3 to 5. They had a nation to defeat. The angel of the Lord told Joshua, gather the whole children of Israel, walk around the city of Jericho once every day for 6 days. On the 7th day, walk around it 7 times, and then blast the horn of, let the priest blast the horn. And he said, you shall go and attack them and win them. What concerns this battle with walking around the wall? Now imagine what Joshua will be going through when he gathered over 4 million people and they are trekking around Jericho. I would have done research to find out the diameter of Jericho, the perimeter of Jericho. After the first day, nothing happened. Because as they were walking the first day, the people will say, Joshua the warrior, he has brought the winning formula. They will be expecting that at some point thunder will strike. Then they walk around, nothing happened. The second day, some people will say, I never eat. When you people come back, tell us what happened. And as they are trekking, when you turn, some people will say, does he know what he's doing? When you turn this side, others will say, has God left him? As you turn the other side, others will say, is he still a prophet? Then they trek, second day, nothing happened. The third day, the elders will come. Don't you think we should have fasted more on this matter? And here where? On the 6th day, some people now, some intercessors will start praying for Joshua. Let's uphold our man of God. Because at this point, we don't know what is going on. Then the 7th day comes. They trek once. They want to go home. They are now used to the frustration. You say today is 7 times. Some people will now squat at one edge and say, go around and meet me here. I will wait for you. So when you are trekking, you will see some hanging and waiting. When they come back, they will do as if they are trekking and turn like this. When you go, when they are coming, they will do as if. Until the 7th time. See, there are times where faith will not make sense. But keep going. Did you not read the story of Naaman? Dip yourself 7 times. The king looked at the prophet. Number 1, the prophet didn't even have the courtesy to come out. He sent somebody to him. I'm a general. I came all the way here. You can't even see me. And then you are sending me to a river. Don't we have rivers where I came from? The servant said, you are here. Just do it. He dipped himself once. Nothing happened. Twice. Nothing happened. Thrice. Nothing happened. Most of you don't know that when faith doesn't make sense, that's when faith is powerful. There are people who stopped the 5th time. There are people who stopped the 6th time. They never did the 7th. But the miracle is at the 7th time. When faith doesn't make sense, what you tell yourself is, I won't murmur until I reach the end. Because when you murmur, God calls it an evil heart of unbelief. He told them they will get to the promised land. When they murmured, he said, I've heard you. Every day we become 1 year. The reason some of us, our wilderness journey became longer was because although it didn't make sense, instead of keeping quiet, we started talking against God, and God interpreted it as evil. If you are a faith giant, there are many times where it will not make sense. And I'm not giving license for all of these strange prophetic actions. That's not what I'm saying. It may not make sense, but it does not mean it will defy God's character. Even if it doesn't make sense, it will not defy God's character. I'm not talking about all these prophets that are telling women to bath on the altar. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying there are instructions God gives you that will defy logic. Consistent with his character, yes, but defy logic. It will challenge you when God speaks like that. Some of you who are stingy, there are times when God wants to bless you. He now tells you, gather all your savings, take it to an orphanage. And you will now start crying because that was the month you made your highest profit. You will say, why was it not 2 months ago when nothing was in my account? When you didn't give me instruction, I was blessed. Is it now that I'm blessed you are giving me instruction? Yes, it's called faith. It looks funny, but this is why most of us never command the results of faith. Don't use logic to rationalize faith. You use faith to rationalize faith. That's why I say through faith we understand. It will make sense to you just because you believe in God, you believe in his ability, and you believe in his character. Number 7, trial of faith is the temptation to compromise. If you have not reached here, you have not seen the end of it. See, there are times when the moment God gives you instruction, or the moment you choose to walk by faith, that's when all the doors to compromise will open to you. You know Joseph, all he needed to do was to sleep with Potiphar's wife. His sorrows would have ended. Nobody would have known. But the guy said, in the whole of this house, the master has given me authority over all things except you. Genesis 39 verse 9. He said, how can I do this evil thing and sin against God? Many people say they are walking in faith. It's a lie. The moment compromise comes in, it's no longer faith. Those days when we were on campus, we started seeing some strange things. Weekend will finish, then sisters will show up. God has blessed me with BlackBerry. Over the weekend, brethren, let's help me thank this God. He has just blessed me with an Android tablet. When they are talking, you will lose your peace. You will, I believe God can, but do you mind sharing with us how? Meanwhile, this sister traveled to Kaduna, traveled to Lagos with an allergy. So God blessed her. His immorality she went to commit. An allergy gave her money for BlackBerry. It's 3 months later when she starts quarreling with her friends. Then you now hear, you, harlot like you. How what? How what? How what? Tell us more. Tell us more. We need to hear this thing because this is a cop. Wait, what? You see, suddenly the sister will become pious. It's okay, I forgive you. No, don't forgive. What? Let's hear the whole story. Yes, what happened? You will now hear. Forget, 3 months ago, she went to Lagos. We know. That's not faith. If you change figures at the office and build a house, that's not faith. If you compromise to get a result, that's not faith. Faith is pure. And those who go through faith, many times they failed before they got answers. But the reason they arrived on the mountain of answers was because when they were failing, they also refused to compromise. Nobody who compromises can be a faith giant. Joseph refused. Daniel refused. Daniel 1 verse 8. We will not compromise to defile ourselves by eating of the portion of the king's meat. Try us. See, write these things down. Meditate on them. There may be too many for you to apprehend them now. Listen to this message again. Write them down. You will check on your journey that you will meet many of these things as you travel in faith. The day you perfect all of these battles, you can stand like Samuel and say, I lift up my hands to heaven. There's no man here that can accuse me. And to prove to you that I'm a prophet, let rain fall in dry season, and it will happen. That's the power of purity talking. He said, I never took a lamb from one of you. I never took a bride from one of you. I served in purity as a prophet. If I did anything wrong with anybody, let that person testify. I lift my hand to heaven. That's a faith man talking. If I tell you I prospered, God prospered me. If I tell you there's a miracle, God did it. There's no manipulation anywhere. Faith is showcased in the excellency of purity. Most of the things we are talking about are not faith. Are not faith. When I started learning the power move, I knew these people were too emotional. When I preach, suddenly they will sing some song. People will start for, and I said to myself, is it God that is touching these people? It's easy to hide under the thing. A point came and said, stop the keyboard. If God is touching people, let's know. If it's their emotion, let's help them. God was dealing with youth. The reason today fibroid can fall down is because I didn't allow that gimmick. The reason today the deaf can hear is because I didn't allow that gimmick. I had to prove this thing to myself. A point came and said, why are people falling down only in church? I know there's atmosphere. I know I preach the gospel. But if I have this power, Jesus was manifesting power in the market. And as I started shutting the keyboard, I started trusting God genuinely to touch people. Ask those who travel with me. Sometimes you are coming to the hotel, you shake the people who didn't go to church with you. People who are not godly, and the power of God will hit them. Demons will start crying out. Don't allow. See, if you notice that the process is compromised, stop. I told myself those days, I said it's not shouting, because deaf ears won't hear volume. I told myself, and when we started, it will look dull because we were used to the rhythm of emotion. But I said no. I said I won't deceive myself by people falling down. Even Michael Jackson showed up, people fell. I know the presence of God can slay people, but this thing must be pure, and I must have a witness that this is God. Today crutches can drop, deaf ears can open, blind eyes can see, tumors can fall down, because we say if this is faith, it has to be pure. You'll be challenged. For me as a traveling ministry, the pressure was performance. They can't fly you to a meeting and you talk and go back. They must see something. Those were the days when if we hear the sound of plastic chair, hallelujah, it was deliverance. But God told me, listen, where you are going to is far. Don't stop here. Get it right. Get it right. Get it right. And today we may not even be there. We talk via media and dangerous miracles happen. Don't come under pressure to compromise. If you go to the fire, you will find Jesus there. Number 8, life-threatening situations. There are times when your life will be attacked. It's called trial of faith. The things that may happen to you, when you check your unbeliever friends, it won't happen to them. And then you are asking, is it a crime that I accepted Jesus? It's part of the trial of faith. Satan wants to check the depth of your conviction. So your faith can be threatened by your life being threatened. Didn't you see Israel? When they came out of Egypt, what was the first thing they confronted? The Red Sea. Don't make make the mistake of thinking because you chose Jesus, the road will be plain. No, it won't. Everything will come under attack, including your life. This is how faith is tested. You come out of 400 years of captivity. The only thing in your head is, I'm going to the land of milk, the land flowing with milk and honey. That's all you are thinking. Then the next thing you confront, Red Sea. Okay, you didn't tell us about Red Sea. What you told us was that God was delivering us to the land flowing with milk and honey. Is this milk? You now turn back and say, please, I will go back. There's no going back in faith. The Bible says we are not of them that draw back unto perdition. When you turn back, you will see an army galloping to kill you. So it's like being in the eye of the storm. You go back, you die. You go forward, you die. Those are some of the circumstances you will find in the journey of faith. But the beautiful thing with faith is that if you don't back down, you will come out. It's either the army perishes or the sea opens. One way or the other, there must be a way out. That's where you see the glory of faith. What has never been heard of before can start with you. Nobody knew that seas could part. Nobody knew. But when they were there, answer had to come. That's why I began by telling you, if the answer is not there, faith can create it. And the Bible said in Hebrews 11:29, it said, by faith they walked through the Red Sea as a dry land. It said, which the Egyptians are saying to do were drowned. See, when you go through these trials, you will be changing circumstances like play. Some people may think it's coincidence until they want to mimic you. Then they will know that you have a history. Somebody has tumor. You just look at it, you say dry up. And then after one day it dries. You say, no, was it tumor? Maybe it's pus. Somebody can't walk. You look at the person, you say, get up. And the person jumps on and say, come on, that's acting. When they want to try, then they will now understand that a spirit business. The Egyptian thought what was happening was a coincidence. It's a tornado that parted the sea. Moses didn't have a hand in it. If they cross, we too will cross. When they now entered, the sea closed up. So when your faith is being tested, your rank is increasing. When you come out, what is impossible to others will become child's play to you. That's how it works. Faith does not begin and end with revelation. It has a school of trials as well. There are times when it will look as if it was a setup to believe in Jesus. It's called trial of faith. You will come out, but you will come out with a story that will become a blessing for a generation. Number 9, betrayals and rejections. When you choose faith, many will betray you. Betrayals. I told you about Joseph already. He dared to believe in the dream he had. That was all. His own brothers betrayed him. But at the end of the story, the dream still came to pass. See the way Joseph interpreted it. In Genesis 50 verse 20, he said, you meant it for evil. He said, but God meant it for good. Don't worry. You choose God. Your friends betray you. They make mockery of you. Don't be intimidated. Some people, because of betrayal, they change their minds and join their friends. You buried your destiny. Let everybody leave you. They don't count. I read a scripture many years ago that gave me confidence in God. The Bible said, if they have left us, it said it means they were never a part of us. And it's the operation of the spirit of the Antichrist. I think that's 1 John 2:18. As I am like this, if you are around me, I will give you my best. I will celebrate you. I will give you opportunity. I will teach you all I know. But if you walk out, I will never look for you. I never put myself at the mercy of a man. If they left us, they were not a part of us. If you're under attack I can go after you to help you. But you stand up and say, I leave, you are finished. You joked. If I'm the only one, I will keep moving. You go read about David. His mighty men took stones and were throwing at him. But the Bible said David encouraged himself in the Lord. You have not seen betrayal, you don't know faith. How about Jesus? One of the 12, he censored them down to only 12. Of the multitude that followed him, even among 12 there was a betrayer. And when Judas kissed him, he said, you betrayed the Son of Man with a kiss? But it's the way of faith. When he hung on the cross, he didn't hold it against them. Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. See, when people betray you in faith, expect it is part of it. You think about it. You are the one God is blessing. You are the one doing miracles. You are the one being influential. You are the one everybody is celebrating. At least give the people a room to be jealous. They check the internet, you are there. The place where they had one invitation to go preach, you passed. Everybody turned, started celebrating you. Allow them the ventilation of jealousy once in a while. Haba, you do be merciful now. With the way God is raising you, if nobody is envious, won't you be shocked? So when they betray you, it's normal. When faith leaves you, men will betray you. Don't kill yourself. It's part of the journey. Encourage yourself in the Lord. Encourage yourself. Finally, uncertain future. You know what the Bible said about Abraham? It said he moved with his children from tent to tent, looking for a city with foundation, whose builder and maker was God. He didn't know where he was going. That's what faith does to you. Get thee out of thy father's house. Get thee out of thy kindred. Get thee out of thy nation. To where? To the land that I will show you. Call the name. No name. Just move. If faith has not brought you to uncertainty, you have not started faith journey. See, there are many times when if you lose track of God for one day, you are finished. Because you don't know the next place to turn. It's as he speaks that you move. That's faith. You turn, you sink. It's just like Peter walking on the word of God on water. The moment he turned, he sank. That's how delicate faith is. And that's why this is part of the trials of faith. There are times when God leads you for 2 years and then you stop hearing God. You will stop there. The navigation have stopped. Why do you think they were 40 years in the wilderness? They were following the Shekinah. There are times when it will stop for 1 month. They will stop. Because you can't move without the voice. So if you are not a man of faith, you'll become tired. Lord, come on. When I was a teenager, you told me to be mopping church. That's blessing is in service. I started mopping. Now I'm 30. You are telling me that you need me for 6 years for prayer. I prayed for 6 years. Now I'm 36. You are saying missions. When will I marry? When will I raise children? When will I build my own house? It's faith. There are times when it won't make sense. It will be littered with uncertainty. The only reason you keep going is because you trust the character of God. That this God is faithful. That's how faith works. They are called the trials of faith. Every faith giant must have tasted of few of these things. Delay in divine promises, lack and scarcity, persecution for your belief, health challenges, loss of loved ones, divine instructions that defy logic and reason, temptations for compromise, life-threatening situations, betrayal by loved ones, and then uncertain future. If these things happen to you, I came to encourage you tonight. It didn't mean God lied. Because all of these situations that I showed you here, the end was testimony. And your case will not be different. The only reason your case will be different is when you decide to change your mind.
Welcome to Anagkazwatch TV. Anagkazwatch TV, we are a great team and work on life transforming messages that will bring you into realms of divine encounter with the word of truth. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and share our videos. God bless you.